you for calling Bradford District Care NHS Foundation Trust. Your call is important to us and will be answered by our next available administrator. Please note that your call may be recorded for monitoring and training purposes. Single point of access, Sarah speaking. How can I help?
Yes, good afternoon, Sarah. It's Mr. Hussain here, and it's regarding my brother, Mr. Talib Hussain, date of birth 15/9/1960.
Thank you. Can you confirm the first line of the address for me?
Yeah, 20 Primary Way.
That's lovely. How can I help? Yeah.
Would you be able to put me through to Viceina Brown?
I can try, yeah. Would you know what it's regarding?
No, I've previously been dealing with Christopher Browell, but I don't feel that we can I can speak to him anymore. So I wanted to speak to his manager, but this is the first time I'm calling. Yes.
Right. Okay. No problem. What about? Is there anybody else? What about? If I can't get into contact with them, is there anybody else that you can speak to?
No, I mean, like I said, I've been previously speaking to Christopher Browell. I don't think we can speak any further because obviously he's not in a position to help us, and I don't think there's anybody else. And I just really need to speak to Viceina Brown.
Okay. Right. No problem. Let me just try and get in contact with you.
Okay.
Viceina is no longer working for the city CMHT. She's moved on elsewhere. So I do have names of the other managers that are involved at City, which is Rachel Court, Daryl Munro or Mohammed Fayaz. Now I have tried all their extensions, but unfortunately there is no answer. So I'd need to arrange an email.
Okay, this is news to me. So Viceina Brown is no longer with the city mental health team, but she's still part.
No, she's moved on.
So where is she moved? Because I know she's employed by Bradford Council.
No, I don't believe so. No, I thought she was by Bradford District Care Trust. But I don't know. I might be wrong.
No, I know this for a fact. She's a social worker. She's a council employee seconded to the Bradford District Care Trust.
Right.
And so that's her role at City Mental Health Team. She's not, but she's the manager of Christopher Browell.
No, she's not. She's no longer. She's not. as far as I'm aware, she actually works for Bradford District Care Trust, but she has moved on to South and West manager, and she's not with the team any
Okay.
longer.
Sorry.
Somebody else.
Sorry to interject there. I mean, obviously this is news to me, so I'm just a bit fluxed. So I just want to get some clarity, because obviously my understanding is quite different from your understanding. Now, she was part of the city mental health team, which consists of both Bradford District Care Trust employees and council employees. That's correct, yes.
I'm not entirely sure whether that's the case, but if that's what you say.
Okay, because as you know, like for example, Baljet Nota, I've spoken to her in the past. She's a council employee, no?
I don't know. I'd need to double check.
Okay, not a problem. So, city mental health team covers a particular area. Are you saying the fact that she's moved to a different mental health team?
Yes.
Okay, all right, but still part of the Bradford District Care Trust.
Yes.
Okay, that. So, can I ask when that happened?
No.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. I don't have that information anywhere.
Okay, all right. And because it's ideal, so would you be able to tell me who is Christopher Browell's manager then?
Yeah, Rachel Court, Daryl Monroe, or Mohammed Fiaz.
Okay, all right. And all those three, I mean, once again, we're in the situation where I just need some clarity of understanding. Would I be able to speak to Mr. Browell?
I can try and get you in contact with him.
Yeah, just so I can. I mean,
you said you didn't want to speak with him originally.
Yes, I didn't want to speak to him because the reason I didn't want to speak to him because following our last conversation, he told me that he's no longer in a position to help the situation. So it would be the reason for me to contact Mr. Browell now is on the information that you've provided me, because I've rang up today to speak to Viceina Brown. You've informed me some new information that she's no longer part of that team. So the purpose of and furthermore, you've said that you're not sure that she works for the Bradford Council or Bradford Trust.
No, I don't believe she does. I believe she's an employee of Bradford District Care Trust.
Yeah, I mean, but
not a subcontractor, because that's not something I'm aware of.
Okay.
Whether you know better, I don't know.
Yes. I mean,
not something I'm aware of.
I mean, for example, Christopher Browell. What would your position be that he works for Bradford District Care Trust?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Because he's confirmed to me that his employees are Bradford Council.
Okay. Right.
So,
well, I'll need to double check that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
As I say, I don't know who works for who.
Yeah.
If you know more than I do, then
Yes.
that's so be it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. My purpose of this call is not to be antagonistic towards you or put you on the spot or anything like this. I'm simply looking. I was simply ringing you up to speak to Viceina Brown. You've informed me today that she's moved to a different team. Hence why I would like to speak to Christopher Browell for the specific purpose where he can assist me on a further clarity of who his employer is. Because the three names that you mentioned, one of those names, I just need to know that there are employees of Bradford District Care Trust. The three names that you mentioned, or whether one of them is a subcontract from Bradford Council, as Viceina Brown was.
Right. Okay. Understood. One moment. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yes, as you mentioned, yes, the managers do have a local authority manager. The person for the actual team now is Mohammed Fayaz, so I can try and get you in contact with him directly.
Did you speak to Mr. Browell?
No, I haven't managed to do that. I've spoken to Judy, who's clarified the information.
Okay, alright. So that's clarified. So we now have a better understanding that Mohammed Fayaz is employed by Bradford Council.
Yes.
Okay, and he's the manager for Christopher Browell, who's also employed by Bradford Council.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So can I try to speak to Mohammed Fayaz?
I've tried the line earlier, and as I mentioned, there was no joy, so I will need to email across.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, you have my contact number on file, so they've got my number to call me on. Can I just ask what are the other two managers that you mentioned?
Yeah, Rachel Court.
Rachel, is that Coates?
Court, as in Court.
Oh, it's Rachel Court, yes.
And Daryl Monroe.
Daryl Monroe.
Yeah.
And they work for Bradford District Care Trust?
I don't know, but she clarified that the local authority manager for Bradford Council is definitely Mohammed Fayaz.
And I'm sorry to be a pain about this, because as you can appreciate, just in this, can I just ask how long have you worked for the trust?
A long time.
Yeah. So would it be fair to say that you work for the trust in excess of 10 years?
I don't need to give that information.
No, that's.
I do know my job.
Oh, no. Please forgive me. I don't mean to be rude on this matter. The reason I say that you know your job, you've been in your position for a very long time, and yet and there's no criticism being drawn to yourself. It's just the fact that there was some not clarity of understanding regarding council employees working for the city mental health team.
That's not really necessary.
I know.
I know.
I understand that, but can you understand? It's concerning for me as a member of the public that there's this confusion. It's not very clear. For example, it's not even clear to me. It's not the fact that it's not clear to you. It's not clear to me, and I've been dealing with the city mental health team for over 10 years. This needs to be clear to me, because there needs to be a clear dividing line between two different organisations, and this is a point of concern to me that obviously that there are unless there's further inquiry from me that even people from the trust are not aware of it. Now the reason I mention that is because my brother, the patient here, has been discharged from Bradford Care Trust. So he's been discharged from the trust. He was discharged by Dr. Rashmi Dixon, who I'm sure you're aware of, in August last year. Yet and I personally don't want to be ringing yourselves up, because I'm taking up your time and resources on a council matter, which is like, can you understand? It's concerning for me.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
I
this time now that we're speaking, this time can be dedicated to very vulnerable people that are trying to get in touch with yourself regarding mental health issues. Now,
what can I do for you now? What can I do for you now?
You've been most assistive, and I don't mean to be put you on the make you feel uncomfortable. I'm going to be looking to end the call, but it is an issue of concern to me that obviously someone like yourself, who's a call handler, is not aware of this, and it's no blame upon yourself at all. It's the way that the situation's been set up, and I who have been dealing with the city mental health team for more than 10 years, have no clarity of understanding how this works. Because if, for example, it's a subcontinent are only for a limited period, not an indefinite period. So this is a concern to me. And can you understand, for example,
Absolutely. If you'd like to raise your concerns as a complaint, by all means, I can give you the number for the house.
No, but this is the problem. For example, if I don't have a complaint about you, but if I have a complaint about you, I have a clear understanding that how I can complain about you, because obviously there's that PALS or there's a process. And that gives me clarity of understanding who you are and how I can follow the complaints procedure. But can you understand that if I have a complaint regarding Viceina Brown, or if I have a complaint regarding Christopher Browell, it's not. They're not employed by your organisation. So how do I follow the?
Yeah, but there will be ways and means of that escalating to whether the directive of whoever that be.
That's right.
Whether it's Bradford District Care or Bradford Council.
Yeah.
I don't feel that is really sort of something that is appropriate right here and now.
No, that's fine.
I have managed to find out the information that you do require.
Okay.
You have got the correct
Yes.
information, and therefore I would more than happy to escalate this further through to Mohammed Fayaz, which is the person that you want to speak and get it clarified, happy to email them now to call you back.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And the reality is, I needed to speak to Viceina Brown because they're related to what herself. But can I just one last point? Can I just confirm that Mohammed Fayaz's manager is Nadia Khan?
Say that again.
Is Mohammed Fayaz's manager Nadia Khan?
I don't know. Do you want me to find out?
If you can just find out, and then we can end the conversation.
1 minute.
Okay.
His manager is Vicky Gibbs, who is also employed by the local authority.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to send you details over now. Can I just take your contact number? I know you said we've got it on file, but if I may take it, if they just ease so that they've got it readily available. So
Okay,
we'll call you back.
it's 07
Yeah,
404
yeah.
68
Mhm.
47
Yeah.
43.
Perfect. If you leave that with me, Mohammed Fayed will call you back in due course.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much. Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye now.
Bye. You can see that Nadia Khan is not his manager. It's Vicky Gibbs, all right, which is somebody else now. All right, Viceina Brown's manager was Nadia Khan. If Viceina Brown is moved to a different team, then obviously I need to know who this Mohammed Fayaz is. And I need to speak to him because obviously there's an ongoing issue here. You know that I no longer can speak to Mr. Browell. He could not further help. I don't need to speak to him. This matter does not need to be with Bradford District Care Trust. And as you can see, the reason I was asking these questions is because they themselves are very confused, like where the line is, and this is where the fraud is. This is exactly where the fraud is. The impression that's been given to other people is that they are healthcare workers. They have an NHS number, so an NHS number grants them, certain level of rights. All right, they can pretend to be healthcare workers, and there's a distinction between social care workers and healthcare workers, and that is quite clearly council versus the trust. Now, what's actually happened is Bradford Council has embedded themselves into the trust, into the NHS, and as a fifth column, whilst within the NHS they give the perception of that they are the healthcare professionals. Now, Bradford Council is clearly not part of the NHS, but yet they have seconded their people into that organisation, and where they then say the fact that we are effectively separate, when the reality is they're not. My brother's been discharged from the District Care Trust, as I explained in August, by Dr. Rashmi Dixon. So why are we still in a position where I'm having to ring the city mental health team up? Because considering he's been discharged, this should go back to Bradford Council, and it should be only one authority. And every time I'm ringing up now, I'm having to ring up the care trust, all right, in order to speak to his care coordinator who works for Bradford Council. There is no involvement of healthcare professionals, namely a psychiatrist, Dr. Dixon, or anybody else from the psychiatry team. There's no healthcare professionals that work for Bradford, that work for the care trust, such as Fungai Machichi Tiri, who's a care coordinator. But both Baljit Nota and Christopher Browell and Viceina Brown and Nadia Khan, that chain of command, all going up, all council employees subconded or working within the NHS, and giving the impression that they are healthcare workers when they are not healthcare workers, they are social care workers, all right? And so this is quite clearly a fraud. And this lady, obviously she's been there for many years, and she's not even clear who the employees are. I'm ringing up the care trust, and yet these are, I'm asking to speak to Bradford Council employees, and then they say we've got some joint arrangement. There's no joint arrangement. It's quite clearly fraud and deception, because they then use their influence over the city mental health team psychiatrist to say, oh, this person lacks capacity, in order for them to take financial advantage of it. Say, i.e., in the case of my brother Talib, what they're doing is they're saying, oh, they got their own people inside the organization, such as the care trust, and they unduly influence them, saying, oh, just say he doesn't have capacity. So, as they were trying to influence Dr. Sami previously, when I had gone down to the Horton Park, that he was trying to railroad through that my brother lacks mental capacity. I put a stop to it there, and then I realized that we were being subjected to a fraud. There's been no COP3 filled in by any healthcare professional or in the court of protection, and they desperately needed a COP3 filled in order to railroad something through. That all failed, and so now people are being moved around. People are being moved around, or on holiday, or you can't speak to them, or all this stuff. It's very, very interesting to realize when she has moved, because I only spoke to Christopher Browell less than a week ago. He didn't tell me that his managers moved on, that this is now changed. All right, this is all ridiculous. This is obviously an orchestrated event. Subsequently, that's been disclosed to me that Viceina Brown has left that team. I can't even speak to her. I wanted to speak to her. I wanted to know exactly why she has contacted my brother's GP and looked to tell them a sub story regarding my historical conduct when it's they themselves are covering up their fraud and deception. Absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I'm having to deal with and this is 25 minutes of my life that I'm not going to get back, that I'm having to deal with such malevolence.